like they don't stop there. We got bonfire. Dennis Rodman in the paint with the blonde hair. I stay on the grass like a lawn chair. Ain't got it counted cause
What's going on, everybody? This is After Hours Live from the Man Cave. This is your host, Tay Wiggs.
That's your co-host, Mark Senior.
We got some great topics on tap right now. Of course, NBA playoffs start Monday. And we just want to talk about a couple of guys who's going off in the NBA bubble right now in Orlando. Who you have so far, Marcus, as actually jumping the gun right now, is catching eyes?
I think the two best bubble players so far have been T.J. Warren and Devin Booker.
So
they're the bubble MVPs.
So with T.J. Warren going off, everybody knows Victor Oladipo is up for a contract negotiation. So the only way he get a big contract, because he was going to sit out, he wasn't going to even play in the bubble.
Right.
So for him to be in this bubble, and trying to get a big contract with a team, then out of nowhere, I'm not saying out of nowhere because I knew T.J. Warren was a buck when he was at NC State.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, T.J. Warren has exploded on the scene. Not just exploded. You would think he was carrying this team to be his team. Can you see him getting the big contract from the Indiana Pacers instead of Victor Oladipo?
No, I don't see that happening. He came back to earth yesterday. When they played Miami, he only had 12 points. Mm-hmm. And Victor Oladipo still is like the main creator for the team. Mm-hmm. A lot of T.J. Warren's buckets have been because Victor Oladipo is on the floor and they shading, favoring his side of the court versus his.
Right. And Jimmy Buckets, they have a rocky start. He had a rocky start. Jimmy Buckets did. Then he finished strong, 19-11. Then he went on IG or Twitter when the game was over and said, "Move." Then what made it so bad, of course, that's their own little battle here at the moment. Then the organization, who run the Miami Heat Twitter or Instagram account, changed their Miami Heat logo to Jimmy Butler blowing a kiss.
What?
Basically calling T.J. Warren out, basically saying, we waited, we had this date circle,
mm-hmm.
You didn't show up.
Right.
So the thing was, everybody, that was a must-watch game. I watched it. I'm looking like, I thought TJ was going to go off him. Like, okay, if he gave you 30, I'd be like, cool. But he didn't.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to continue it for sure. This would have been a good game to kind of solidify, like, this ain't no fluke run. It was legit, but, he had a bad game. It happens.
If this go down, so the playoffs start Monday, this will be a good first-round matchup because as of right now today, the Miami Heat are 4th place and the Indiana Pacers are 5th. So we can see this for another 7-game series. Then, according to the NBA players, when they do start, it's going to be a game every other day.
Oh, yeah, so it ain't going to be no 2-game breaks. They're trying to get this over with.
Right. They going AAU style for real.
Right. I mean, that's going to favor, I think, the Pacers. It should favor them. They got two. They're young. I feel like these teams are pretty evenly matched. I'm just thinking about both rosters. They probably same in age, same in veteran leadership. They're very similar. They're both tough teams. They're not going to beat themselves. It's just going to come down to who won it more.
Exactly. So, with that being said, like you got everything going. You got Draymond Green got fined $50,000. 50 got fined at 50 ball for telling Devin Booker that the Phoenix Suns should get rid of him. Mm-hmm. But if you notice, he's been putting on the show.
Yep, they ain't lost a game since then.
In the bubble. So,
right.
Looking at D Booker and where his team stand at, Everybody's only a half a game for that A spot. The team I thought that was going to choke would be the Memphis Grizzlies. Told you, I said the Memphis Grizzlies would be the team that probably won't get in. I said Portland is going to get in, but that's not a number 18 that you want to play in the first round of playoffs. But Devin Booker is definitely putting the league on notice. Like, hey, don't count us out because we still got to play too. And according, they got a game at 4:30, and they play against the Philadelphia 76ers on NBA League Pass. They are banged up.
Right.
Banged up. And I said, once again, I said, hey, Marcus, I said, the team that probably won't make it out the East will be Indiana. And right now, no Ben Simmons is hurting you right now for tonight's game. Also, no Joel Embiid. You talk about your two All-Stars. It's definitely hurt. So will this be – now, this is time we got to see Tobias Harris and put that $180 million.
Yeah, got to earn that contract tonight.
Got to earn that contract tonight. So we got to see. So if they lose this game, the Philadelphia 76ers, they still in a good spot in the 6th seed. And kudos to them. But back to that Draymond Green fine for $50K for the Devin Booker. Do you feel like Draymond Green was trying to do some tampering there?
Knowing him, yeah. He the same guy that's in the parking lot calling KD. After they had lost to the Cavs in the finals, even though their team already had unanimous MVP, 3 All-Stars, he was still making that call to KD to join the team. So, yeah, he's tampering. He want Devin Booker to play with him. But it looked like Devin Booker kind of took it to offense. Like we said, he's bubble MVP. Right. They're 5-0 in the bubble, so. He playing like he don't want to leave Phoenix.
Right. And I'm gonna give kudos to Monty Williams just to get a young team like that on track. I'm gonna mention his name a little bit more often too, just to get everybody to put everybody on notice. I know what's going on in the league with the COVID-19, but thus far we've been seeing some good basketball. People are playing with chips on their shoulders. Paul George and Patrick Beverly making fun of Dame about Dame time. Dame didn't really take no offense to it. He said, y'all know what I'm supposed to do. Y'all expect me to do this.
Right.
Not only Dame time, though, Marcus, the next night, put up 51.
50 piece. Put them on notice. It's too bad the Clippers ain't the number 1 seed. Otherwise, that'll be a good matchup. Portland versus the Clippers, now that with this added, competitive spirit to it, it would have been, want to see TV.
These teams are being very competitive. They are staying in the same area of the hotels. Yes, like Kyle Lowry said, my room number 836. So this one I like the chippiness. There's no home team advantage, no crowd. Virtual fans, they fade in and fade out. So you can hear what's going on the sidelines. But going back to that Paul George situation with Patrick Beverly and Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar, Dame said he put out Patrick Beverly in the playoffs in the game when it shot.
Right. Yep.
He said he sent last year Russell Westbrook and Paul George home packing. Not only sent them home packing, he sent them literally pack out of the stadium and go to different teams.
Right. Packing, literally.
He said, don't worry about what I'm doing. Y'all keep that same injury. Y'all the ones who leaving teams and trying to find them home. I said, ooh, Dame got so spicy, I ain't gonna even lie. When he said that, I went out and bought another pair of Damian Lillards. This is a true statement because Skip Bayless said Damian Lillard missed on 2 free throws and he don't show up for the big game moment. I'm trying to figure out what Damian Lillard – he said, Dame is 4-10 in the playoffs. I said, okay. And what's Patrick Beverly record in the playoffs?
Right.
So they got some help. What is Paul George record in the playoffs? Paul George, 9 out of 10, shrinks in the moment, in the heat of the moment of the playoffs.
I think he only got out the first round maybe once or twice with the Pacers.
Probably
I can't think. But every time after that, he met LeBron in that first round and he went home. every time.
I think he probably only got the playoffs his first round. No, I don't think he ever made out the first round.
Oh, they made it to the that one year where they upset
The Miami
Knicks.
Heat.
Yeah,
So
the
that was
Knicks
one
and then
time.
yeah.
So they been out the first round one time. And I think the one time they played the Miami Heat was at the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, and then they lost.
They lost. So
Right.
so Dame, everybody keeps saying, "Oh man, we had a discussion. Oh, they saying Dame ain't that guy." I was like, "Look, Dame been putting in work. Him and CJ been doing it by themselves
Pretty much.
for a long time. This is after LaMarcus Aldridge. Because to be honest with you, LaMarcus Aldridge is not a bad power forward, but he actually don't show up in certain big games when they need him to be.
Nope.
So
they had the same issue in San Antonio. Last year in the playoffs, he didn't. For the first couple of games, he just didn't show up. I don't know. He had a convo with Pop, and after that, he started playing better. But with the Portland Trailblazers, his first playoff experience,
now speaking
learned
of
that
the
to
Portland
write home about.
right. Speaking of the Portland Trailblazers, Gary Trent Jr. I told you.
Yeah, you did.
I said when
You
this
did.
bubble start, I said Portland want to make some noise. I said it ain't gonna be Anthony Simmons. I said it's gonna be Gary Trent Jr. I said
Sure did.
he was the X factor to get them guys going. I'm sitting here watching the game. I'm watching it just like this. I'm like, man, Gary Trent Jr., I need you to live up to what I just said. I don't know if he's watching this, but if he is, salute
to him.
salute to him. But all honesty, he said the key thing. The time they was off from them 2 or 3.5 months, he said he was putting in work, putting up shots, lifting weights. And that is showing you he's going that extra mile to put that work in to be up there with some of these guys. All right, it's going to be some nights that CJ not going to bring it. It's going to be some nights where Dame not going to bring it. But you got a guy like a Gary Trent bringing it, you pretty much in there.
You'll be all right, right?
Not scared. Like you said, his dad played in the NBA, played for the T-Wolves, played for a couple of teams around the league. He played at Ohio University, your alma mater. So I know you feel pretty good about that. Just by him watching his dad put in that work, how he became a pro. Now the whole thing is the whole debate probably in the house, who's the better pro? Even though it's only his first and second year in the league, Gary Trent Jr. is a nice guard. He's a nice 6-man off the bench. He still needs a little bit more work. But in this bubble, as we said, like you said, Devin Booker and these guys that's going off, TJ Warren, cannot forget my guy Gary Trent Jr. Like I said, Portland Trailblazers is a dangerous team. And while we still in the Portland Trailblazers, what about Carmelo Anthony? Slender Melo.
Slender Melo. He's been looking like the Melo from Syracuse.
Man, hey. and not only Melo's putting in work, I think the last 3 or 4 games, he's been scoring 20 or more points. That's big for them. You're still getting about 30-something from Dame. You're still getting about 20 from CJ. But the thing I do like about Melo, he bring that toughness to their team they was missing at that 3 spot. Like I said, what a huge upgrade for Mr. Steal Your Check, Nicholas Batum.
Yeah, he down there in Charlotte now stealing checks.
Yeah, don't get me started about that. Like I said, Carmelo Anthony, like I said, you can tell he's moving a little bit more better with the weight loss. And he seems like he's having more fun. He's more free. Mm-hmm. Dame and CJ take a lot of pressure off him, but people don't fail to realize that Carmelo Anthony is the all-time leading scorer in USA Olympic history. He just moved up past Paul Pierce with 15th on the scoring title in the recent game. His resume, it would solidify him to be a Hall of Famer in the near future. To move up 15 and to do it with a young core to accept his role, like you said, you got younger guys. You got Nurkic back, Zach Collins back, them guys back from injury. So that gives the Portland Trailblazers more depth. They can be a dangerous team in the first round if they do meet up with the Lakers, because watching the Portland Trailblazers, they have enough power to be another AC that can eliminate it another number one seed as the Los Angeles Lakers, and we're gonna talk about them in a second. Going around, like we said Ben Simmons is banged up with the left knee. He had surgery yesterday to left the bubble. That's not good news. Like you said, Joel Embiid out with the high ankle sprain. That's not good news for them because the playoffs start Monday. But I believe he'd give it a go, giving a cortisone shot. Marcus, his Ben Simmons' name is becoming a betray bait, but with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yep. And the names that we hear that can go in this trade, we just know the Cavs get Ben Simmons, another player might come with them, like a Josh Richardson, throwing that package. But if you look at what the Cavaliers trying to give the 76ers, it was Kevin Love, right? Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, and Kevin Porter Jr. for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that's when I would, me personally, I would hung up the phone when they started talking about Kevin Porter Jr.
Right, because Kevin Porter Jr. has all-star potential to be an elite player in the league in years to come. But we know what Ben Simmons brings. Injury prone, can't shoot, can't hit free throws at a high clip.
Real limited. I mean, that's too big of a package. I mean, maybe, Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, or Darius Garland, Kevin Love, two, but not all four of them players. I mean, he's just going to come to the Cavs and it's just going to be him and Andre Drummond and Tristan Thompson. and
the Cavs
all
are
guys
smart,
who can't hit free throws.
If the Cavs are smart, if they want to get a Ben Simmons, you got to give me someone else. It's either you're going to give me Tobias Harris or you give me, what's the young guy? Josh Richardson. You got to give me something if you want Kevin Porter Jr. because Kevin Porter Jr. is still a raw talent. A lefty shooter. Go at you. He still got to work on some things. Don't three guys that we just named in that trade, KPJ, Darius Garland, and Colin Sexton, they still got a little bit of work to do to play with somebody like Joel Embiid. But if Colin Sexton do get traded to Philadelphia, he fits that mold of that city. He's a tough guard. Yep. He's going to bring it every night. And he make it easy because the guy averaged 20 points per game.
Yep.
So would the Cavaliers get a Ben Simmons? We don't know. Because right now, Tristan Thompson is supposed to be a free agent. He's been very quiet. He's out in L.A. in one of his houses. Could it be a possibility he played for the Lakers and play with LeBron? Because one thing I say about Tristan Thompson, he plays every night. He plays hard. He's going to get you the rebounds that you need. Not only rebounds, he give you that second chance rebounds they definitely need. You don't see the Lakers get a lot of second chance rebounds with a JaVale McGee. Dwight Howard looks old and depleted right now. Can barely get off the floor.
For a putback dunk. So well, right? Starting the year so well.
And two, like I said, a home court advantage. The Lakers feed off that home court advantage.
Yeah, they do.
Every team feeds off their home court advantage. Now you go to certain arenas and stadiums throughout the league, the players see a certain fan that comes to the game every night. You don't see that guy or that woman or that child every night that gets you riled up and pumped up. Like I said, a different atmosphere can get them going. And in this bubble, you got Montrezl Harrell come back. Seen on his Twitter last night because I follow a lot of guys on Twitter. He had "I'm back," and "I'm back" with exclamation mark. Not only you back, you still got to quarantine yourself, right? You still got to get a game shape as well.
I mean, the "I'm back" thing. Who we know did? Michael Jordan. Right. And LeBron James when he came back to Cleveland. He can't be saying he just can't be putting "I'm back" and be in the same category as those guys. Like, you back, okay. You come off the bench, you a 6-man candidate, but it's not like I'm back. Like, we about to win now.
Hey, let me ask you a true question. You got to pick a surprise team in the East and a surprise team in the West. Right now, Marcus, like in the East that you think been holding it down in this bubble as a surprise team that's been playing collectively as a unit?
I will go with two teams. I don't know if you can call one of them a surprise, but the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, okay.
They're the defending champs, so I don't know if you can say they're a surprise team.
And they're not getting no love. They're not getting no love.
They ain't getting no love. And the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
I think Victor Oladipo is going to play different once the playoffs start. Like, he just been kind of cruising, like trying to get his foot back in, but he's still been getting on that scoreboard. He still be putting up points, getting assists. He's still all over the place. And then if T.J. Warren play like anything like he played these bubble games, they're above pace.
Okay. And mine's in the East. I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets. No KD,
Okay.
no DeAndre Jordan, no Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Chirizo, Garrett Temple. You would think just these guys is not holding up. You would think the Brooklyn Nets at least slide down to the 8th spot. They holding on to that 7th spot kind of strong.
Strong, right.
And they can be a dangerous team playing like a Raptors, but they still don't have enough to make out that first round. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, championship experience is the key thing. And like you said, the Toronto Raptors are low-key playing good basketball. Nick Nurse got that team still going. Like you said, you would think because they lose Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green in free agency last summer. You say here again, like, the Raptors won 51 games with no Kawhi.
No Kawhi. And you might as well say no DeMar DeRozan either. They lost because the DeMar DeRozan replacement was Kawhi Leonard. And they don't got neither guy now. But, they got guys like Pascal Siakam.
ICP.
Kyle Lowry playing, like he always do. More confident after, got that monkey off his back winning a championship.
And Norman Powell. Norman Powell been stepping up big.
Norman Powell and Van Fleet, their whole team is just, they mesh well together.
And dark horse on their team, OG Anunoby.
Oh, yeah, who wasn't there last year?
Who was hurt.
Yeah.
So if OG Anunoby can spread, like you said, give them that extra three-point shooter they need, because like you said, he's definitely, I've been watching him very carefully so far in this bubble. He's been hitting the three ball quietly in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at a guy that's knocking the threes down quietly in the corner, you're looking like, okay, we're working with something here. So shout out to him getting back on track and getting where he got to go. All right, Marcus. The Memphis Grizzlies, who right now is sitting in the AC, by Saturday, will they make the playoffs, yay or nay?
With Jaren Jackson hurt, I'm going to say
that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah, it hurt bad. I think he was really – him and Ja Morant was pretty much carrying the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ja Morant, he kind of I can't remember. It was like the third game, I think. He just kind of went into like a semi-shooting slump. And then Jaren Jackson just started hitting threes. He started hitting buzzer beaters. He started shooting at a clip that I didn't expect him to ever shoot at. Right,
and it's a weird-looking jump shot, too.
Yeah, it is. It's very weird. It be going in, though. So,
nothing but net.
Right. So when he got hurt, I just kind of marked him off because I think they may survive for a playoff playing game, but if they play, Portland or Phoenix, I think that be too much for them. Then they'll knock them right out.
Right, because that playoff play game is a one-game elimination. So to be honest with you, let's say Memphis lose the next two games. Do you know that playoff game would be Portland and Phoenix?
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I knew it was close. I didn't know it was Phoenix was that close.
Yeah, because Phoenix has the same record as the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh yeah, with that win yesterday, they do. You're right.
Pretty much. They only the Phoenix Suns only a half game back. Portland Trailblazers have game back of Memphis. So if Memphis plays the Celtics tonight at 5:00.
Yeah, that's going to be a nail.
And that's what
Unless people resting, that's going to be a nail.
So you're looking at that game, you're looking like, man, that's going to be tough. And Portland played Dallas. So that's going to be a good game. That's 6:30 on TNT. Then, like I said, at 4:30, you got Phoenix playing the 76ers. I'm going to get that win to Phoenix because them guys been stepping up. So, like I said, in San Antonio, it's pretty much a half game behind Phoenix.
Right. They right there too.
So this playoff bubble been crazy. Right now, Houston playing San Antonio. San Antonio is actually up by 6, but the game is still early in the first quarter. That's on NBA. That's on NBA TV. When you're looking at these teams fighting for that AC, I'm looking like, wow, there's something going on. But the whole West is crazy. Like from second place to third place, they can go like this: Denver and the Clippers. Then everything from 4th through 7 can everybody can flip flop with the next 2 or 3 days. So I'm looking at the playoffs should be fun. Moving right along, Marcus. NBA Rookie of the Year. NBA had their finalists out. And tell me, do you agree with it? Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, and Zion Williamson. They're not. This is post. This is pre coronavirus.
Right.
Not right now. Do you agree with those selections? Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, and Zion Williamson.
I'm on the fence about Zion. You know, like I know what type of potential he has, and you know, he gave the Pelicans a lot of hope. But you know, Kendrick Nunn and Ja Morant been doing it all year, and I would say Tyler Hero too.
Okay.
Another Miami.
That's a dark horse one right there. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I will put him in the finalists, but you know he had a stint where he was injured too. So, I mean, I don't think Zion gonna get it. He shouldn't finish second. I think it should go to Kendrick Nunn at second place, but Ja Morant definitely the Rookie of the Year. I mean, I think that's hands down.
I can't be mad about that because I did an article on Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero to be a special piece for the Miami Heat early in the season. And I was writing for like a little website at the time. And if you asked me who I had to pick, then I probably would have went Kendrick Nunn because Ja Morant was still taking his time heating up, and Kendrick Nunn came in right off the bat, came in on fire and took Deion Waiters' place and forced Deion Waiters to be a free agent. You saw how long it took for Deion Waiters to get signed. It took him to get signed till he got into the bubble. But all said and done, you got to pick a Rookie of the Year. I'll probably get an edge to Ja Morant because he played in a tougher conference. He's going up against some of the best players, and he's been taking some of the best players out too at the same time. So I get it. And Kendrick, don't get it wrong, Kendrick not been putting in work, but Kendrick, most of his work been coming off the bench, which is still key because you need a bench player who's going to go out there and give you buckets. But my pick would be Ja Morant for Rookie of the Year. Who you say you going with, Marcus? You say you going with Ja, right?
Going with Ja too.
All right. Defensive Player of the Year. The NBA also had Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That one's tough because it's pretty much all big man. You know, that's kind of like an old school Defensive Player of the Year finalist where everybody's a big man. I would have to go with Rudy Gobert again. I will put AD at second and then Giannis at third. But it is real close. Giannis and AD is like neck and neck. But I would give it to Rudy Gobert just because He won it last year. He really didn't fall off much, besides catching coronavirus. That was his only real downfall in the
Yep.
season. He been pretty much mirrored his stats from last year. So, before, up
right.
to March anyway.
So I'm gonna just say this: Anthony Davis is in a tough category. First and foremost, he's going up against a former MVP and a former Defensive Player of the Year. So when you look at that, you like, Giannis Antetokounmpo numbers is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Period. He improved on the jump shot. Free throws are getting a little bit better. And he played above the rim. Rudy Gobert, he pretty much got the same numbers as last year. So he didn't really do too much to get involved back into the game. If I had to pick for my defense player of the year, I'll probably go Anthony Davis.
Okay.
As a big man at that spot. Because AD can play the 4 or the 5. And on certain nights, he does carry the defensive part for the team as an anchor man. I would say he go first. I would say Giannis second. I'll put Rudy Gobert third. So you going with Rudy Gobert. Mark that down. Marcus picking Rudy. And I'm picking Anthony Davis. And we both said Ja. Most improved player, Marcus. They have Bam Adebayo for Miami Heat, Brandon Ingram, and Luka Doncic. Do you agree with that one? I'm gonna tell you no.
Man,
Two names.
I wouldn't put Luka as a most improved player.
Because he
more like he more like an MVP candidate.
Ooh.
Maybe the 5th MVP on a finalist. But Bam and he definitely most improved. I would say Bam. I can't think of nobody else other than. It's either going to be Bam or guy from New Orleans that I just can't get the name. Brandon Ingram. One of the two. Like they definitely took their game to another level this year. Miami wouldn't be where they at without Bam. And the Pelicans were gonna make the playoffs. They were like on their way to making the playoffs even before Zion started playing. That was largely because of Brandon Ingram.
So you said Bam. So I got 2 names. I'm taking 2 off.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna go with Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I'm sticking with Bam.
So you're going Bam. All right. We know Bam was an all-star this year. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram was an all-star this year too, I think, right?
Yep, he was.
Luka Doncic all-star this year. But like I said, you're right, Marcus. I cannot give Luka Doncic the most improved player. This guy been pro since he's like 14 to 15 years old.
Right.
He's pretty much a seasoned veteran and only his sophomore year. So this is a name I came up with. I came up with this guy name. And I know people are like, man, what the hell are you thinking? I'm going to go with Devontae Graham for the Charlotte Hornets.
I think Doncic actually said to take him out and put Devontae Graham in there, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was one of his picks as well.
Mm-hmm. Now looking at Devontae Graham, Charlotte Hornets, no. Let me say, this year alone, he's put up great numbers. So this year, now listen to this, Marcus. This year, he shot 37% from the three-point line. Last year, it was 28%. So this year, he made 218 threes. Last year, he made 34.
Man.
His free throw percentage went up. He was 76 last year, 82 this year. Right? Assists, 121 last year, 471 this year. 23 steals compared to 62 steals. So when you're looking at a person, points like that, and what they've been doing, I mean, like last year he's averaging pretty much 12 points per game, pretty much.
Right.
This year he's averaging 18. Rebounds went up. He averaged 7 assists this year, and it's still just I would say 0.2 blocks. He shot a 3-point percent, and he was better from the field goal. That's one of my guys I thought they would have picked as the most improved player. And my boy, I thought they was gonna pick SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay, yeah.
Out of OKC. I'm not talking about what he's been doing. I'm not talking about what he's been doing in the bubble. I'm talking about before the bubble.
Before the bubble. Yeah, he's really benefited from CP being there.
Oh, most definitely. He soaks. You could tell he soaks up everything in. And when you were looking at that, the next guy out there, all right, he's like, no Russ here, no Paul George. So only got CP. I got Steven Adams. I would fit in good as a third wheel. So when you're looking at him, like, yo, that's not bad because he brings it every night. And not only him, Dennis Schroeder bringing every night. They got back Andre Roberson, which is a key piece. You got Steven Adams
for years.
Yeah, you got Hamidou out there.
Yep.
That's a young team, and other than Chris Paul, like we keep saying this, Marcus, they sent Chris Paul to OKC to dry up in the sun.
It did not.
So I thought the NBA got it wrong with those two names, except for Brandon Ingram. But if I had to pick one, I think so far this year, Luka Doncic got 18 triple doubles, the fastest player in NBA history under the age of 21 to have that. If I had to pick a most improved player, hey man, I'm going with the big slender man myself. I'm taking I'm taking Brandon Ingram. He averaged 23 points per game. I think that's good as 8th or 9th in the NBA right now. So I'm gonna mark that down. I'm gonna go Brandon Ingram for me. I'd like to do this one. I love this award. What about the 6-man award? The 6-man award, they got Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and Lou Williams. Remember last year, Lou won the 6-man of the year. Who you think gonna win the 6-man this year?
I think Lou Williams and Montrezl kind of cancel each other out, so I'm gonna go with Dennis Schroeder.
Wow. I was thinking the same thing. I ain't gonna even lie. That's why I said wow, because like I said, Dennis Schroeder been traded now. This is second team or second team within the last 2 years? Because he was in Atlanta. And where is those at before he got to Atlanta? Was he in Milwaukee?
Oh no, I think he's just this is just a second team.
The second team.
Yep.
So if I had to pick one, I can go with Dennis Schroeder. Get Chris Paul that much needed break off the bench that he need. Like I said, is not scared to go to the rack. A young, crafty point guard, which I like. He just walking in a baby to this world too. So shout out to him. He get a baby. If he win this one, he's definitely winning. So you're looking at Dennis Schroeder. I'm like, y'all look at the same thing, like Lou Williams and Montrezl up there again. Now, it would be funny if Montrezl did win it off the strength and the NBA feel like he should have got it last year. I can see something stupid like that happen in that scenario. But look at Dennis Schroeder. This season, he averaging 18 points. So he pretty much averaged 19 points per game. But his career season, and just in the career period, he averaged 14 points. Like I said, man, he's been a bucket the whole time since he's been in the league. And just to get to where he at is definitely good. I'll take that. We both agree about Dennis Schroeder over Lou Williams and Montrezl. Like you said, they cancel each other out because they got the second best record in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. MVP. You got LeBron James, James Harden, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Get the former MVP from last year. You get the former MVP from 2 years ago. Then you get the former MVP from down there 8 or 9 years ago. And LeBron has 4, so this is a good one to pick. I'm gonna let you go and take a stab at this one, Marcus, and see if you agree who you got and why you should take on who we shouldn't take on the strength of it because.
I'm gonna go with LeBron. Just because the narrative has always been, he couldn't dominate the West. He dominated the East his whole career. He went to the West. He supposedly wasn't gonna make the playoffs. He supposedly wasn't going, be able to sustain with, the better conference. And he's the number one seed in the West. He hasn't lost a step. He's been playing better than ever at age whatever, season 16 or whatever, age 30, 34, 35, however old he is. And I just feel like James Harden, he's more flashy. He put up more points because of the system. Giannis, he's the MVP last year. He pretty much just did the same thing he did last year this year. Whereas LeBron has been doing it for 16 straight seasons. He's now done it in 2 different conferences. And the Lakers are the number 1 team in the West. And without him, they would not have been. If they just had AD and pick a small forward, they would not be the number 1 seed in the West.
Probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs if it's
just right.
Well, then this pretty much this league is a 2-headed type or a 3-headed type all-star type league you got to have to bring it every night. Not only do you need the superstars, but it's other guys, glue guys that get it going. Pretty much said the same thing. I probably would have said. I'm looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's the former MVP last year. They won 55 games and only lost 16. They are 36-7 in their conference, which means in the Eastern Conference, you play the Cavs 4 times, you're going to beat them 4 times. You play the Knicks, you're going to beat them 4 times. That's 8 wins right there. That's 8-0. You play Detroit 4 times, you're probably going to beat Detroit 3 out of the 4. So the Wizards been helpless this year just for Bradley Beal. They probably going to play them. If they do play them, it's going to probably be 3 times. Probably be sweep them all 3 times. It's a different cake walk in the East. I'm not going to penalize Giannis Antetokounmpo for doing that because LeBron James won 4 MVPs in that same conference. But now, before people jump that gun, that conference is better and they have more hitters.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James winning MVPs when the Detroit Pistons have 4 good guys.
Right. I was just about to say Detroit.
Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, a Sheed, a Chauncey, Rick Hamilton. They have 5 legitimate guys. Then we still going at that time Allen Iverson when he had over there a young Vince Carter. So
Gilbert Arenas for the Wizards.
So it goes on and on. You still have Paul Pierce doing his thing. That list still goes on and on. The reason I said I didn't give it to James Harden because James Harden number 2 is a former MVP himself.
Right.
So I don't want to sound like Stephen A. Smith over here. But realistically, the guys we just named, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a former MVP, right?
Yep.
Also, he played as a 3-point shooting champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
James Harden and Russell Westbrook are MVPs in that right. Not only James Harden's an MVP, James Harden, I think, is a former 6 Man of the Year award too, as well.
Yep.
So you talk about accolades, and people, and people don't like James Harden game because he can do dribble, step back. But at the end of the day, that guy would be a Hall of Famer. People don't appreciate his craft first and foremost. So I appreciate that guy and his craft. He's a left-handed killer. He lost weight. He looks a little bit more faster out there as well. Russell Westbrook has shed a couple of pounds too, but right now he's injured right now or taking a rest, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But if I had to go with LeBron, he never led the league in assists. He's doing this in year 17.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. Yeah.
He's still a top 5 league. He's still a top 5 scorer in the league. He just passed up Kobe to be third time all due to score. So you're looking at MVP type stuff, like you said, Marcus. I'm gonna take something off your train. If you take LeBron off this team, they would not be a 52-18 team. And now listen to this. This is what people are not saying about LeBron James. He's 10-2 in his division. The division has the Clippers in his division, first and foremost.
Right. That's the only 2 teams. They lost to them twice. That's it.
He's 36-9 in his conference. Going against the Clippers, a young Denver Nuggets team, the other night who get a run for their money. The Houston Rockets, another team. OKC Thunder, who definitely beat the Lakers, another team that give you a run. The Utah Jazz, a team. These are tough teams. Dallas Mavericks, tough. The young Memphis Grizzlies is on their way. They're tough. The Portland Trail Blazers, they're tough. If you get caught sleeping in that spider web, the Phoenix Suns, the Spurs, and the Pelicans will beat you up. So there's a tougher conference for LeBron James to get an MVP. As Shannon Sharp would say, hey man, hey Skill, mark me down for LeBron James to win an MVP. I'm going with you, Marcus. Mark me down with LeBron to win an MVP.
LeBron James.
We got Coach of the Year. And their names that came up to NBA: Mike Budenholzer, Bucks; Billy Donovan, OKC; Nick Nurse, Raptors. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with it. I think that's I think you could have put the Lakers coach in there in a running above Budenholzer. I think the Lakers head coach should have, especially with what he had against him. He got Jason Kidd as his assistant coach.
You're talking about Frank Vogel.
Yeah, Frank Vogel. He's coming from off of where the Pacers pretty much kicked him out, and he got JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard for at least the first part of the season to play better than than they have in a while. So I don't think he should have won it, but I think he should have been in it in the finals above Budenholzer. Now, who I think should win it is either Nick Nurse or what's the other finalist name? It's the second time.
You got Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan, right? The OKC Thunder coach. Nick Nurse or Billy Donovan. I don't care which one win. I think they're the coaches of the year. I would go with, just because I figure like he had a more of an uphill climb, I'm gonna go with the Thunder coach. You can mark me down for Billy Donovan.
All right. I'm marking you down right now for that. Do I agree with this list? No way. As we say as a kid, no way, Jose. Mike Budenholzer could not be coach of the year because I think he won one already before. I know the league been tight. I know the league be trying to kind of tight on that because they haven't gave back-to-back MVPs since Steph Curry won, I think, twice. That's been almost 2 or 3 years ago. I've been 3 years ago. I've never seen the coach win the award back-to-back. I haven't seen that in a while. I like Nick Nurse. Am I picking him? No. Even though they won 51 games, and this team, like you said, this team is a little bit different without Kawhi. I'm not going to just mention Danny Green's name, but I can still mention it. But the main reason why they won a championship solely is because of Kawhi. In that time, the ball rolled their way. A couple of injuries where, no Kevin Durant got hurt early in that series. Clay got hurt. So the basketball guys is actually on their side. But realistically, that's a good choice. Billy Donovan's not bad. Mike Budenholzer's not bad. But wait, there's more. If I had to throw a coach in there, I'm keeping Billy Donovan. But if I had to get two coaches, I would have to add to this. And they say outside this, Dante, if you can remove two names around, I'm moving Mike Budenholzer. I'm moving Nick Nurse first and foremost. I'm going to Denver Nuggets head coach, Mike Malone.
Okay.
For the Denver Nuggets. 46-25. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris. I'm missing one. Paul Millsap.
Michael Porter.
Michael Porter Jr. been coming up along. Willie Barton. He's definitely my other one. Right?
Right.
And two, I thought they forgot a name. What about the Brooklyn Nets head coach? They coach quit in the middle of the season.
He sure did.
And Jack Vaughn took over. Kenny Atkinson left the team.
Yeah.
Jack Vaughn, a former point guard in this NBA that played for this league. Name should have got mentioned as coach of the year. Because when you lose a coach in the middle of the year with the guys not coming back like we know Kevin Durant won't come back to next year anyway. Kyrie Irving in and out of your lineup. You don't know what you're going to get from DeAndre Jordan in a given night. But to still maintain that with a Joe Harris, a Karis LeVert, the young Jared Allen, that says a lot about your team. Yeah, them other guys not playing, but we did not quit to get where we got to go. So he would definitely been one of my coaches. They could have put in there a Jack Vaughn. Like I said, and not to be funny though, the Memphis Grizzlies head coach. You can say what you want to say, don't make the playoffs or what, but to get your team like that in a position where they can't fight for a playoff spot right now, and you're looking at that young coach, Taylor Jenkins, not a household name. And he to me, the way he dresses and the way he was like an old school coach from the 80s, because some guys is laying out there on the line for him. They could have mentioned him. I thought that if you could have mentioned a rookie of the year, like a John Morant, but also the coach should have got some love too, because the rookie and the coach go hand in hand. Coach and rookie go hand in hand, period. I thought the NBA messed up with that because I thought they put Mike Budenholzer in because of the record. Not when I think of coach of the year, me personally as a coach of the year, previous record from last year to get these guys where they going this year. That's how you should discuss a coach of the year.
I 100% agree with that. 100%.
So, all right, everybody want to know with the lead pick, Mike Budenholzer, Billy Donovan, Nick Nurse. I'm gonna take off Mike Budenholzer name. I'm gonna scratch his name off. This is a tough one because I'm looking at Nick Nurse in the East, and Kyle Lowry game is the same. Tough point guard, little bulldog like Chris Paul. I'm gonna go with Billy Donovan, the OKC Thunder.
Okay, so we agree there.
I just like what he's been doing with that young team. Like I said, Chris Paul is out there coaching them young guys and everything. And Marcus, give me Billy Donovan coach of the year. I want to go back to the MVP thing though.
Okay.
Because I feel like I know they got James Harden name up there and Giannis. You're the former MVP. Your name should be always up there. LeBron ain't always gonna get mentioned. But if they told me close my eyes and throw another name out there, I've been rocking with the guy the whole time since the trade. Chris Paul.
Okay.
Should have got mentioned for an MVP candidate.
He definitely should have.
Just by the body of work. like I said, that younger talent and everything. You know, Chris Paul has the chip on his shirt that he still is pissed off that he got traded away from Houston.
they let him, like what you keep saying, they left this man for dead pretty much.
And this man looking like, so y'all got this young team willing and Cash Dillon. They're way to the playoffs. I mean, when you're looking at that, I'm trying to think. They're the 5th seed, Marcus. Do you know who they be playing the first round? The Houston Rockets. Now, if Chris Paul put them out, the playoffs, the GM needs to be fired for pulling the plug on Chris Paul. By far, Chris Paul is one of the most complete point guards in NBA history. Because this is nothing new to him playing on a team like this. Should we say the old New Orleans Hornets? When he's down there with that young team with a J.R. Smith, a David West, Birdman before he got tatted all up, Peja Stojakovic. Chris Paul been there before. He knows what it takes to get a team out the rut and have them grinding. Make him a Chris Paul then should go there for MVP. Now,
all facts, man. I got nothing to say against that.
So, moving right along. College football. They said no college football. You know, we know the MAC canceled. And you know the Big Ten got a new president. And he's canceled Big Ten college football. How do you feel about that? No college footballs on Saturdays.
I mean, I figured it would happen. You know, when they started talking about canceling the high school football and high school sports, you know, college is a step above, and there's money, a lot more money involved. You know, I thought they would hang on until the very end, but you can't put college players in a bubble. You can't isolate them. You know, they got to be on campus. They got to go to class, and they're potentially exposing that virus to the whole campus. Whereas, you know, 30-man roster, you know, in the NFL. So it just made things more complicated. And I figured they eventually was going to cancel. They ain't going to have no choice. You know, he's either going to, you know, risk spreading the virus more, you know, or postponing the season for another year.
So now they canceled college football. No, you know, the MAC canceled, like I said, in the Big Ten. Now, hypothetically, if there's no college football season in these conferences, you know these players are transferring and go play for another school. So just think about a team like Ohio State, the Michigans all in the Big Ten. You got the teams in the MAC, the Ohio U's. You got the Akron and Canton schools and all that. Kent University, when I say Canton. Kent Universities. You think about those schools, Bowling Green, you know what? They kind of say, well, I got to play football. This is my last year. I'm a prospect to go to the NFL. So when you're looking at that aspect, the NFL is probably like, man, this is going to hurt us because we don't have no film for these guys to get them to the next level, though, Marcus. So when I see something like that going down with the college football, no players playing sports this fall, the NFL is going to benefit from it the most because the NFL is going to move their games from a lot of their games from Sundays to Saturdays. So we're going to see we're going to see more Saturday football games and Sunday football games as well. So when you're looking at that transpiring in the NFL down to the college with no college football season, especially not in the Big Ten, but it's a Power 5 conference. That's going to hurt the player you thought was supposed to have. This you don't know. Football is iffy because it's all about one season. You can have a year where you can have a one stellar year and just take over. So when you're looking at something like that, and the team moving right along, and you're looking at like a Justin Fields. Can he transfer and go play for a team that need a quarterback in the SEC or the ACC? How do you think you feel about that? If, say that was you, Marcus. This is your senior year or your third year in college football, and they tell you they canceled the season. You know, last year was injured, and your freshman year is mediocre. How do you think you're going to get drafted? Are they doing tryouts, just tryouts, or are they going on probably last year's film?
Man, I would be devastated, you know, especially if I was a good player. And yeah, you got to think how you gonna make the NFL. It's probably a trap, you know. In the NFL, they're known for picking up guys you never seen before, inviting them to training camp, and all of a sudden they're a star. So it's gonna be a real reliance on that.
I think it's a tough situation for kids. Then until you come out of high school, it's your senior year. You balled out. So just imagine that kid who actually had like one college offer and he just blow up out of nowhere and just have a good year. And then the letter is spread. Now, if you got one offer, what are you going to do? Do you take that one offer or do you go somewhere of your choice and try to be a walk-on? And that's the crazy part of that. A college football player, senior year of high school, he only got one college letter. And if he ball out and you get more letters and you don't. Right. So what do you think he should do? Should he go somewhere else and be a walk-on or just take that college offer?
I will walk on somewhere else for sure. I mean, I think that you got to have confidence in yourself, and that's probably the best option.
Now, you got Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan football coach, team up north. And you got Ryan Day, the head coach of Ohio State football. And they are trying their hardest to get their guys to play. The football team for both universities, Ohio State and Michigan, the players that they want to play no matter what. Now, so you're going to stop the college play, but you still want the kids to attend school. So we know college football, like you said, Marcus, before, college football brings in tons of money. So from a money situation, I mean, I understand that the kids can't play due to health situations. I'm all for that. But I'm not going to say these are kids. Some will come into college as kids. But what about the guys who've been there their third and fourth year as already grown men? These are young men. So we can't call them kids. These young adults. They make the decision where they want to go anyway. You tell me they can have a decision to when they want to play? So how you feel about that? About that situation, about the college football players. Everybody want that piece of the pie of them getting paid. Do you think the college football players deserve it? Should they get paid? Should they get a stipend? Just say they do go out there and play. Do you think they should get paid for what they're doing?
I think they should get paid. They're putting their bodies on the line. They're bringing the school the most income. Definitely should get paid. I don't even know why they still not getting paid.
Right, guys. I don't care what your college football record, high school football record is. Across the board, football, period, from the universities all the way to high schools, like you said, Marcus, carry these schools. You can play for a high school who ain't never won no games in the last 15 years, but every Friday night, them stands going to be filled. I mean, the situation that everybody in with this pandemic is crazy because you don't know what's going to happen next. Looking at them young guys, they got to do something, man. College football got to get together. It's almost like the MLB. You got guys out there fighting on the field. You only playing 60 games. You got players sneaking sneaking out their hotels, partying with their friends. Now they got to go quarantine for another 4 or 5 days. And like you said, if you play in 3 or 4 games in a week, that's equivalent to almost 8 to 9 games. And that's going to take a real big hurt for them too as well. So looking at certain situations of this stuff right here, of the college football and of course MLB. We know MLB not playing the bubble, and I think it's weird.
Very weird. They, like you said on the last pod, 18 players from, what was that, the Cardinals?
That was from the Marlins, Miami Marlins.
The Marlins. I don't know what the latest results are, but, you think that eventually they're going to probably cancel that season, I think.
Then you got players like Zach Plesac from the Cleveland Indians. And not Zach Plesac, Mike Clevenger. I'm sorry. Mike Clevenger, one of the Indians' aces. Sneaking out there and doing what he got to do. And he broke the coronavirus protocol. And just listening to this type of stuff, I know Terry Francona is running a very tight ship over there in that Cleveland Indians organization with his team. I mean, right now it's going to be a tough one for them to lose a pitcher at that stature. We know the Cleveland Indians will trade a pitcher in a heartbeat, but for somebody like a Mike Clevenger to break the coronavirus protocol, he's going to get suspended. So, how you feel about that? Because I don't think he's the only player in MLB that's doing that.
You're definitely not the only player. They all probably breaking protocol every day. Every day. He just the one who got caught, eventually it's going to, like you said, they're not in the bubble. They really don't have any protocols to protect them. So to me, he technically ain't even breaking a protocol. He just doing his normal, yeah. Like, you ain't got really no rules in place. How you gonna expect them to follow like 1 or 2, and then it just don't make sense.
Right. I'm sure it don't make sense to me. Speaking of baseball, you got the Toronto Blue Jays, right? So I'm not. Was their ambassador in Canada said that the team can't play in Toronto because of COVID-19. They don't want teams flying in and out of their city. But he backpedaled after that. He said no to the Blue Jays, but he let the whole NHL come up there and play the hockey playoffs up in Canada with those teams. And, these guys still all come from different walks of life. But the one thing, the NHL plays in the bubble, the NBA plays in the bubble, and these guys are getting so much more and benefiting more from hockey than they is from their own baseball town. I mean, they could let the baseball players in and play a game. Hey, before you come in here, you definitely have to get tested. Once they get tested, we take you straight to the stadium. Then once the game over with, you leave the stadium, you get on the plane, you fly out. I thought their ambassador in Toronto handled that situation wrong on both sides, from NHL to come in there and play their playoff game, but their baseball team couldn't play in Toronto. Now, how is that? Looking at different criterias of that area. With the NHL, Marcus.
You say it kind of broke up.
Oh, my bad. No, I'm saying the NHL definitely having playoff games up in Canada, but their ambassador in Canada said the baseball teams can't come up there and play baseball games. Now, how is that situation different from the hockey team coming to play in the playoffs than the MLB team playing their season?
I don't think it's different at all. In fact, that should be their move. You know, there's our bubble city for the MLB. You know, Canada or Toronto or Vancouver. I mean, I don't think it is no different. One's just on ice, and the other is an open field.
Right. And two, on top of that, the NHL, like you said, they playing in Vancouver. They in a bubble. MLB is not in a bubble. So you look at where like I said, the NBA has nobody's tested positive yet for COVID-19. I think it was 346 players. But the players that's been catching at the highest rate been baseball because they have no bubble. Hockey has nobody committed the coronavirus. And the sport they've been playing so far the longest through this pandemic been soccer. I think soccer only had out of their whole league, you know, they play it. You know, they travel from almost from country to country playing their games. So you're looking at whereas in that league, I think it was almost like 11. I think it's between 11 to 15 guys who had the COVID-19. But other than that, that's it. MLB had the highest, followed right behind the NFL. And this is crazy because NFL is only in training camp. They don't have pads on yet. They're just doing walkthroughs and workouts. And they still contracting it. So I know that it's going to be NFL season because they're going to find some way to keep the numbers down. With the NFL. There's a lot that's going on with this pandemic. And because we know everybody want to play sports and get back to their normal routine and everyday living. It's going to take some time before we get back there and people gain their trust back. We know the NFL is want to start their season off. They want to at least have about between 10 to 20,000 people in their stands during this pandemic. But the kicker is if you're in a football stadium, you got to keep your mask on. So how are they going to do that if fans drink beer and they still got to eat food? So how that's going to happen? There's a lot that's going on in this league. A lot. Yeah, you know, with the NHL and MLB, like you said, they play in Vancouver and whatnot. And like you said, I think the Toronto Blue Jays should also be playing at home as well, hosting some home games. But unfortunately, they got to find somewhere else to play. I forgot what city they playing in for home games. I think most of their games, I think they play on the road. I think all their games will be road games. I think they'll be on road majority of the times compared to home games. And I thought for them to be an MLB team, like I said, I can't speak for the commissioner, but we didn't hear much from the commissioner about that situation. Now the Canadian ambassador, let it be known that y'all not coming in here. No teams from the U.S. not about to keep flying in and out of here to play a baseball game, but only when the game is over, don't baseball teams fly back home to their city and stay there. Then they come back the next day and come back and play. So you just can't just not stay in the city or the hotel. You fly back where you came from. So when you look at a situation like that for an MLB team, you're like, what's next for a team like the Blue Jays? And like I said, the commissioner's handled this poorly.
Right. He's just not – it don't seem like he got any organization or idea of how exactly you want to handle it. He's just letting the teams, you know, do as they will, like a free-for-all. And I think this is definitely a time where he kind of gives some guidance, you know, some matter of factness. Like, yeah, we all doing this. You know, like I just said before, you know, it sounds like Canada is the perfect place, you know, to have a bubble. You know, they got Toronto, they got Vancouver, You know, it's plenty of places. Ontario's plenty of places where they can, you know, bubble up, you know, and have, you know, they 60-game season, or it probably should even be shorter than that. But it just seems like nobody has an idea, you know, on the MLB side.
Exactly. Now, moving right along to NFL. 69 players has opted out not to play in the NFL season due to COVID-19. They say they want to, you know, they want to put their health at risk. Not only their health, you know, their career on the line. Like the whole thing is, like we've been saying it before, you got linemen out here weighing 300-something pounds. If they catch COVID-19, you talk about guys can lose between 50 and 60 pounds at that size. You talk about offensive linemen going to looking like more like a defensive back. So, you know, it takes a lot for those guys to keep that weight on throughout the season. And further news, the Washington team has changed their logo. They're not called the Redskins anymore. They have a big W. Not to say big W, but they have numbers on the side of their helmets. I like them. Yeah, they got. If you go to Google, look at the Washington Redskins helmets. Not a bad looking helmet. It's clean. The burgundy helmet with the orange, with the yellow letters. Don't look too bad. I mean, if you ask me, the way it looks, not too bad. Not too bad. So you go to when you go to their team website, they got the W there. And I'm looking, could this be a hint of what their team name may be going for? Could this team name could possibly be the Washington Red Tails? The way it's shaped, like it's almost like that aerodynamic airplane type style to it, like fast on the go. So that's what I'm. So that's not been bad at all.
Yeah, and I noticed that their website, you know, just from going to it just now, it changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they took off Redskins completely. It's just not a Washington football team.
What about this?
They got the under construction.
Right. What about this? Washington Redskins, you can call them the Washington Pigtails. I mean, yeah, you can call them Washington Pigskins. Because the football is supposed to be pigskin.
Mm-hmm. True.
And they used to call themselves back in the day the hog pen. So that's a lot that you could do with the Washington football team. When you think, not when people say Washington, what you watching? I'm watching Washington football. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Washington University?
Right.
Washington State? So they got to be more clear on that as well. So they will have a nickname. I mean, you already got it. Wouldn't be too bad to have another team in the NFL with an airplane name. You got the New York Jets.
Jets. Why not JETS?
Go with the Red Tails. Not bad at all.
Or the DC Red Tails. I mean, if you want to get rid of the Washington, you know, we know for sure what team.
Yeah, DC, yeah, District of Columbia. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, hey, anything is possible right now in that type of situation. Hey, that's all. Hold on, before we leave, the Washington football team released their running back, their second-year man, Darius Geis, the running back. Allegedly back in March. Like I said, allegedly. He supposedly strangled his girlfriend unconscious. So some people don't know what strangle means. He choked her till she couldn't breathe. So he got released. Not only got released, he wasn't performing on the football field and he wasn't performing off the field with that situation going on. He was hurt a lot.
Performing anywhere.
And performing a lot. So all my athletes out there, words of encouragement, just ain't saying words of encouragement, but word of advice. Leave it as this. When that kitchen gets too hot, you leave. First and
Right in the
foremost.
kitchen. Right, you gotta get out of
Right.
there.
If you can't stand that heat, get out the kitchen. Remember, beans don't burn on the grill.
Right.
So, all my guys, you should learn from people like Ray Rice. They had to take. Keep your hands to yourself. Walk away from the situation. You gotta be a bigger person. I don't care who you are out there. Yeah, you might say, "Oh, he's soft." If a woman hit me, I'm gonna hit her back. Not gonna win. First and
Nope.
foremost, you're an
That's a
athlete
losing
or
battle.
you're a losing battle. You're a non-athlete or athlete. All males, keep your hands to yourself because I've seen a lot of guys that beat up on women when it's time to come and fight a guy. They turn into a little 8-year-old boy. They don't want to fight no more. They want to talk it out. They don't want to
Right.
squab it out. You can't squab it out. You might as well walk it out.
Right.
Get out.
Just walk it out. Yeah, just walk away.
Walk
That's
away.
like the best solution.
All my athletes, male athletes. You got women athletes out there too that put their hands to people too as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in the words of me, myself, keep your hands to your goddamn self.
Right.
Point blank, period. Like I said, it's After Hours Live from the Man Cave. I'm your host, Tay Wiggs.
Your co-host, Mark Senior.
We out of here. Peace.
Peace.